Amazing. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome everyone to today's masterclass. So actually, let's wait a bit to join and to let others to join also around 1 minute. And while doing so, let's welcome our guest actually, Wadia. Welcome, Mr. Wadia. Wadia,
Oh,
implementation engineer in Omniful. So welcome again to our masterclass. Yeah, it's been not a long time since you came here, but yeah, welcome.
yes. And it's a pleasure to be here every time. It's my pleasure. And
Amazing.
thank you for having me on the panel again. And yeah, I hope we have a fruitful session.
Hopefully, yes. Which is, I believe so. We will have a very fruitful session as we will talk about a unique topic for you, I believe, inventory.
God, my favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's wait. I guess we can start soon. So how's your day going, Wadia?
Going pretty good, actually. I had the warehouse visit earlier. So I've seen the inventory real life. So I'm kind of fresh now. I have a lot of topics and a lot of
Oh, oh,
discussions to share with you. Yeah,
fresh, real examples that we can get.
fresh, real examples.
Amazing.
Yes.
I actually like the Omniful logo at the back,
Yeah.
so it's always nice to present Omniful.
Yes. Fun fact about the Omniful name is Omniful, the first part, which is omni, is omni-channel, and the second part, which is full, which is fulfillment. So it's like omni-channel fulfillment. That's why we combined it and we made it Omniful.
Amazing. It is
Yes.
like the name is super unique, and it's actually make
It sticks.
yeah,
It sticks to you. Like once you hear Omniful, it makes sense to you.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe we can start now. So welcome everyone for our today's masterclass. This is me again, also, Muhammad Jamil, the product marketing at Omniful. And we have our dear guest, Mr. Wadi Al Nawar. He's the implementation engineer at Omniful. So, welcome also our attendees and actually guests for today masterclass. Today, we'll talk about inventory accuracy. Exactly the use case of how can I, as operation or warehouse manager, achieve up to 99% inventory accuracy without the annual shutdown. So without the necessity of annual shutdowns. So Wadi' يعني give us like ice breaking about exactly this topic. What is it exactly and why it is an important for a warehouse manager to have this option also.
All right. So thank you very much for your nice introduction again. To jump straight into the topic, basically, everyone knows how cycle counting, or if I say just counting the inventory you currently have in your warehouse, can be a hassle. And sometimes it could seriously hurt your operations because sometimes you have to stop your operations to count how many items you have or how many SKUs you have in your warehouse. So this could be a hassle and a disadvantage for some warehouses or some companies even. So achieving 99% is a huge number. 99% is not an easy number to achieve in terms of inventory accuracy because, as you know, in our traditional methods of counting our inventory is usually per Excel or per different Excels that you combine together, and it requires a lot of manual work. And in some cases, also, the only tracking for inventory you have is with counting them. So
Mm.
with annual shutdowns, currently our tradition is most warehouses around this time, coincidentally, which is towards the end of the year,
Yeah.
they shut down their operations for 48 hours to 72 hours, some even 24, depending on their warehouse capacity. And they start counting their inventory. And yeah, just halting this operations, especially at this time of year in peak seasons, it's hard for some warehouses.
Okay, so always shutting down warehouses is not nice. It's not a good thing to do actually. So here we go to our like first exact topic into our masterclass, a cycle count. I immediately see a cycle count. So we talked about the annual full shutdown where we do the annual count, the normal annual count, and we are especially the warehouse managers coming to these days by the end of the year. Talk me or walk me through what is it actually the cycle counting and comparing to the annual physical count, how it is.
All right. So let me break this down into two different parts, the bigger part being cycle counting on Omniful. Okay.
Mm,
So because you mentioned 99% accuracy, as I said before, that's a hard number to achieve. Obviously, that number is not just achieved by cycle counting. Cycle counting is a huge part of maintaining your accuracy, such as double checking or primary checking, even. But the main inventory accuracy comes from different components and how you track your inventory. Okay, so how I track my inventory on Omniful currently is
mm,
yes, I do it through cycle counting, but on Omniful, if I achieve a perfect process, I don't even need to cycle count. So that's a point that I have to say, because deductions of inventory is performed through Omniful, right? When you fulfill the orders, your inventory gets deducted. And
yeah,
during inbounding of orders, when you're inbounding items, with the join and putaways, which are terms familiar to our Omniful users. Okay, and if there are any broken items in your warehouse or such and so, also performed on Omniful, you have an app that you can adjust your inventory, disposing items and finding failed items in your inventory. Right,
okay,
now that's the first part, okay, to achieve the 99% accuracy. Now, with cycle counting, it adds to that as I mentioned before, your current processes is that you have a lot of manual work, which makes you vulnerable to a lot of human error, such as
yeah,
Excel's going back and forth, not having any tracking on who or when or where they're cycle counting. It's just a general cycle count that you have. You give to the operation manager or the warehouse manager, and he has nothing to go based just after he gives the Excel or whatever program he used to cycle count. He has nothing to go off after that. Okay. Now, cycle counting on Omniful, I have, let me say also the main component is why do I not need to stop my operations to perform cycle counts on Omniful? Because in Omniful, I have all the locations available on my system. So what I can do is I can create something called cycles. Okay, that's what we call it, cycle counting. So
yes,
in this cycle, what I'm doing is I'm putting specific locations where I want the cycle count to happen. So for example, let's say aisle one, there's a warehouse with 5 aisles, right? I want to cycle count aisle one. What I can do is I can just keep the cycles for aisle one only and assign a user. I cannot, on the system, I can assign a specific user to go. I'll show it to you later on the system exactly how it works. He'll
okay,
go and cycle count this aisle, okay, or this location. I can choose 5 locations. And while they're cycle counting, the operation continues for the other locations and the rest of the warehouse normally.
okay. So the cycle count it will be like a continuous process, a continuous workflow.
Yes, it could be continuous and it could be just segregated on however you like.
Yeah. So when I compare it usually with the normal annual count that we know in operations, after full year of operating in my warehouse, I want at least at the end of the year to check is actually my inventory the same where I record or what I record or not. So how it comes the cycle count when I want to do it now at the end of the year? Can I do it like per sessions? Uh, and exactly how it or usually how it comes.
All right, so what you could do is you could create cycles. For example, you could just align that you want to cycle count, for example, once per week, right? Or once per month. Or if you want to count a specific SKU, you can do it again per month or per week just for that SKU. However, it's mostly used on locations. So I could possibly just split my warehouse into different squares or different areas within the aisle or within the location of my warehouse, right? And then say, okay, I want to take this sector and cycle count it this week. And then this next week, I have the next sector, and I can input the locations on the system to cycle count that sector. Now,
Okay.
most of just a fun fact, most of our users do not count yearly. So they don't do it just once per year. The main reason why is they don't need to, because our inventory is tracked and kept in complete accuracy throughout the whole year. So you'd be very surprised how many cycle counts per year were canceled because it was done partially. And then the users realized that, okay,
This is,
this is accurate. This is good
yeah,
enough. I don't need to cycle count.
yes. Okay, amazing. Let's continue about a part of the counting, the blind counts, and how can I eliminate bias. So you mentioned that it will be assigned to a specific user. I want to make sure that there's no bias, there's no like problem that could happen in my inventory. Walk me through this area of blind counting also.
Okay, so blind counting is a configurable step along with other configurable things that we have on the system. As I mentioned before in a previous webinar, and I keep saying this again because it's a huge privilege to have that we're a configurable system. We have
Yes.
things that you can switch on and off to your liking. You can switch it on, try it, you don't like it, you turn it off, vice versa. Blind count is one of them, and it's a configuration that we have that sets the expected count on the user's interface, which means that I already know the inventory, right? Me as a warehouse manager or whatever, I have access to know how much inventory I have. So, for example,
Yes.
location A has 50 pieces. Okay. Now, when I send a user to go count that location, I am deciding whether on the application that he's going to go cycle count on, do I want him to see that there should be 50 or do I not want him to see? This is the expected count. Okay. So I don't want him to show the expected count, which is my real inventory, or do I want him to start cycle counting non-biasedly?
Okay.
Yes.
So,
In addition to this, sorry to interrupt you. In addition to this, I have other options of configurations on the cycle counting that is similar to this one, which one of them is okay, so when the user is cycle counting, do I want him to scan just one piece and then manually enter the quantity? Or do I turn off the manual quantity entry and have him have to scan each piece one by one?
yes. So for me as a warehouse manager, if I have all these like options to manage the cycle count, I will reduce the errors more and more. I will have more accuracy. So this is one
100%.
aspect of a type of or an option to add upon the cycle count itself. So the more options or the more like details you go through the cycle count, you'll have much more and more also inventory accuracy and hopefully to reduce any errors that could happen or discrepancies. So amazing. Now we reach about or we reach to the discrepancy resolution. It's I think a must that usually could happen in the operations. Walk me through the workflows of the real-time discrepancy resolutions and the processes.
All right, so I think I took a lot of time on the previous points, so I'll walk you through this one real quick.
Yes,
So
but
for the
and take the full time to explain it well, because
yeah,
it will be indeed very uh, informative for us to know exactly how these workflows and the processes work.
Yes, 100%. All right, so variance workflows. First of all, I have to say again, there's another configuration on the system that allows you to enable or disable this step, which is allow the user to update the inventory. Now, allow the user to update the inventory. What it means is that when I send the user to cycle count, whatever he counts, if I have it enabled, that means that I'm gonna automatically update my inventory based on what the user counts as soon as he clicks complete cycle count. All right?
Okay.
Sorry. So if I don't want him to do that, what I can do is I can disable it, and then it will go to a different workflow to where the warehouse supervisor or the warehouse manager or etc. will have to manually take action on the cycle count, which means after the user has completed his cycle count, on the dashboard, the warehouse supervisor or warehouse manager is going to get a update on the status of the cycle count, saying that this this cycle count has been completed. Now, based on that, he has different actions. He can either update the inventory, which means that the a new count, like if there's a difference or a discrepancy in the actual count and the new count that I sent the user to go count again for the location. So if I update the inventory, my inventory is going to get updated based on the new count of the user that I sent to count that location. Now, mark for recount. If I am unsure or I doubt that this is a real count or this is accurate, what I can do is I can mark it for recount and send the same user or a different user that cycle count at that location to go count it again. Or I can completely reject the count. And what happens that if there's a discrepancy, there should be 5 and he counted 8, for example. Once I reject the count, I'll keep my inventory as
Oh,
the the
of the
inventory
previous.
before, yeah, of the inventory before he actually counted the location.
Okay. And how the
Yes.
processes goes in the resolutions.
So as you know, our system is integrated with sales channels or ERP systems or whatever that get the inventory updates, right? So once I update this inventory, since I'm integrated and this is if Omniful is being used as a source of truth for inventory, once it is updated for Omniful, it gets updated on all the, how can I say the best terminology here?
The,
All the
all the
relevant
details.
platforms, all the relevant integrations that I have. Like anyone who is getting updates from me as an inventory, it gets updated instantly on all the channels.
Okay, amazing.
And also, as a warehouse manager, sorry, let me just add this point. As a warehouse manager, I have reports on the cycle counts. Okay, so the system Omniflow generates reports for me on cycle counts, so I know the discrepancies. I know the different locations. I have all the information I need in the reports. So as a warehouse manager, once I have more than one cycle happening, I can collect the reports, analyze it, and see if there's some similarity in the discrepancies here and there, and I can track trends based on that.
Okay, amazing. So
Yes.
let's see all these like exact items that we cover in the platform. So let's go live, moving to Omniful platform, so we can see it in actual practice. And after it's we will have Q&A. So
All right.
ask you, Wadia, please, if you can share your screen. Let me close my screen. Stop share. Yeah.
All right.
N-
So is it visible for you?
Yes, now we can actually see Omniful platform through your screen.
All right. Perfect.
Amazing.
So this is the page full of previous cycle counts that were done. This is our demo. So everyone takes their, you know, everyone loves just adding cycle counts and testing out themselves. So these are examples of previous cycle counts. So let's say I'm a warehouse manager or supervisor or whoever who gave me the responsibility to cycle count. I want to create a new cycle. I want to tell user or multiple users to go and start cycle counting locations. So first off, I'm going to give it a cycle count, for example, Omni webinar, right? And I have the option of either adding
I think We lost you, Wadia. It's a bit lagging.
G2, they start with G1 or G2. What I can do is I can add G2 so that, for example, all locations that start with G2 will get added to the cycle count a little bit there. Or did you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, Wadia. We lost you once you moved into the location. So
Prefixes. Okay, so I'll say it again, like
yeah,
real quick. So
please.
location prefixes, that means that all the locations I want to add to the cycle count start with, for example, G1, right? Because sometimes you have warehouses, their locations, they start with G1, A1, A2, or G1, A3, A4, whatever. Here, I'm adding all the locations that start with G1. Okay, so I don't have any in my demo workspace right now, but all the locations starting with G1 will be selected. Okay, and here will give you the number of locations. Or
Okay.
what I can do is I can add the locations manually. Okay, so here I have all the list of locations. For example, Z1. Let me show you an example. So Z1. Here, as you can see, there's 16 locations that start with Z1. By selecting the prefix, I added all of them.
Yeah.
So I can add one location, two, three, four, whatever I like. And I can set a due date to when I want this counted by. Okay, so I want this maximum counted by tomorrow. Okay, and here I assign the users that are going to count.
Okay.
Right,
So all
once it's
users
created,
that I will have, I can assign
sorry.
anyone. So I will be able to assign anyone to this exact cycle count.
Yes, exactly. So, for example, I added this person to count. Once I created it, as you can see, this is the status of the cycle count, right? So I can go here and I can see, and these are the ones I briefed you about. So here I have the expected count, the actual count, and the discrepancy. Let me give you, for example, one that there's numbers.
I believe you can go down, maybe.
Okay, let's take this one.
Yeah.
So this location, this is the status, obviously, after I took the action to update it. So the expected count, how many items were supposed to be on the shelf, were 9,993. Okay. When the user went to count the location, he found that there are no items. Now, this is a demo workspace.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll
Yeah. Yeah.
find crazy stuff like this happening, but it's not realistic. Okay. But basically, the difference between the expected count and the actual count is a discrepancy. And here the system detected that there is a discrepancy. Okay. And if I would like to mark it for recount, I'll have the additional information to when he recounted it, if there was a discrepancy again or not. Now, if I reject the count, this is the inventory I'm going to update to. Okay. If I accept the count and update my inventory, this is my new inventory.
So it will be immediately the actual count that it's showing.
Yes, exactly. It will be immediately updated on all integrations and immediately updated on the system.
Yes. And by this is the cycle count and how it works. And this is the
Yes.
difference between doing normal full stock count and this cycle count methodology. So thank
All
you,
right.
Wadia.
No problem. I'll stop my screen share here.
Yes. And let me share my screen. I will ask you
Okay.
actually if you have any question to ask Mr. Wadia. Please do so. You can write your all questions under the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. And let's wait a bit for any question from our attendees.
All right. So while we wait, I want to add two additional points. Now, everything you saw, it's all right. It's good. It's extremely good, right? It's tough, but there's always some things that I like to call the omniful spice. Okay.
The Omniful Masterclass. Yeah, so now you will
Yes.
talk more about Omniful. Yes.
Yes. So the omniful, sorry, magic about the cycle counting is
Mm,
so now when you add locations, you add something called picking priority. Okay, which I think we spoke about last time in our picking webinar. It's saved on YouTube for everyone to check. Guys, please go
yes.
ahead.
So all our previous masterclasses actually available under Omniful channel on YouTube. So just write Omniful on YouTube you will see the master classes available on the channel. And actually, we are doing a weekly basis master classes, and we will cover a very actual, interesting topics in the operations. Yes, Wadia, sorry for cutting you.
No, no problem. All right, so as we spoke about last time, our picking priority. So on the picking priority, what I'm doing is I'm mapping my hub virtually on the system. I'm letting the system know what path for the picker to go to pick the items or pick orders and start packing them, right? So in
Yes.
this picking priority, I'm saying, for example, U-shaped. He's going in U-turns, right? Around the hub. Now,
Okay.
for cycle counting, during my cycle count, the system also takes the information of the hub and how it's mapped, or the warehouse and how it's mapped. And during the picking priority, it reverses it to make the path go opposite to how the picking priority is. Now, why is that? Because imagine you have pickers picking in the picking priority, right? In picking waves. They're going around the warehouse from location 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. You don't want someone going alongside them and
Yeah.
having them again, the traffic and them bumping into each other. One is cycle counting, one is picking. So what the system does is it takes him to the last location. So it's literally the reverse. Picking priority number 1 is here, picking priority number 10 is here. And inventory cycle counting, picking priority, cycle count priority is the last location. So they're going to go in opposite directions. So they don't actually bump into each other on the warehouse floor. Now,
Okay.
that's the first point. The second omniful magic in this is that during cycle counting, once I have a cycle count initiated for a location, there is no picking on that location until I finish my cycle count. Now, why is that? Because once I assign a location to be cycle counted, I don't want someone to come and pick the item and have some sort of misalignment with the cycle counts, right?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
location becomes on hold until the cycle count is completed, and vice versa. If there's picking and it's in one of the picking routes, okay, you can't initiate a cycle count on it until the picking is completed, until the picker comes, takes the item, and he hands it over to the next phase.
Okay. So this is what will also secure the accuracy.
Yes, for sure.
It's amazing. So as our session have actually 2 minutes or 1 minute and a half, there's no questions. So I believe, or I hope also, it was an or a fruitful session for you guys. Uh, and thank you again, Mr. Wadia, for this informative actually session. It was actually, which is a normal topic for most of us, and inventory accuracy. We all like talk about inventory accuracy, but to get to this level of like details into a specific use case, which is cycle count, it was actually interesting. So this video will be available on YouTube, and this session will be available on YouTube. So be يعني be happy to go check it out and view it on YouTube masterclasses or Omniful masterclasses. Thank you, Mr. Radia, for this session and for your time, and thank you, our attendees, for your time actually with us. So yeah, do you have anything also to say, Mr. Radia?
No, thank you for having me on this panel. Again, it's a pleasure every time to be here and discuss Omniful, which I actually have a huge passion for. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again in future panels,
Thank you. Hopefully. And we will have
hopefully.
continuous, inshallah, master classes in a weekly basis. So stay tuned for our also next master class that we will announce on Sunday, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Have a
nice day.
good day.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day. Salam.
Salam.